What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'll be answering some of your questions. We'll be talking about a new playscale Venator, the return of cloth waistcapes, as well as how to get good deals on LEGO, and even some 2026 LEGO Star Wars leaks and rumors. We have a lot to talk about in this video, so if you're excited, leave a like, and without further ado, let's get right on into this video. Our first question for today comes from Max Rainier, and they ask, what are my thoughts on the 2026 LEGO Star Wars waves, and what is my favorite set? Now, when it comes to 2026 for LEGO Star Wars, a lot of people are pretty disappointed, especially coming off of 2025, which was a year that had a great lineup of sets. Now, yes, maybe when it comes to the pricing as well as the execution on those sets, not as great, but you can't argue that the lineup was pretty goated, at least on paper. And coming into 2026, that's something that everyone feels like we are lacking a little bit. A lot of the sets seem kind of lazy, reused ideas, and just not things that are super exciting, but I still think there are a lot of really cool things that we could be seeing. Now, as for some of my favorites, I think the Vader's TIE Advanced is one that I've been wanting to see for a long time, so finally getting a new one is really cool. I think a big standout one has to be that new battle pack coming with the two 332nd Clone Troopers as well as the two Maul Mandalorians. Those have been some minifigures that we've wanted to see for a long time return to LEGO Star Wars, the Maul Mandalorians, and now getting them in an accessible battle pack will be very cool to see. And there's also a couple other ones here or there, but when it comes to 2026, we still are missing a lot of information, so we don't actually know overall what we're going to be getting entirely. So I still think there is a lot of room for LEGO to cook, and I think we just have to give them time and wait to see what we end up getting in that 2026 year before we end up judging what it is. Sleepy says, did I see the LEGO Pokemon leaks and will it be scalped like the cards? And yes, I did see the leaks. We actually have some leaked images of the Pikachu. I can't show it here. I got my last video taken down. I'm sorry, but you can go Google just LEGO Pikachu leak and it will come up. Also shows the X-Wing as well. Also got my video taken down when I showed the X-Wing. But yeah, it looks okay. I like Pokemon. I've bought cards in the past. I collected cards as a kid. I played the games. The sets, I've only seen the Pikachu. It doesn't look amazing. It doesn't look bad. I'm holding out to get something cool like a Snorlax or something like that. Snorlax is my favorite Pokemon, but overall I think they're pretty cool. And will they be scalped the same as the Pokemon cards? I don't think so, because it's not the same thing. The reason that Pokemon cards are scalped is because everyone wants to open them to pull whatever the chase card may be, but when it comes to the LEGO set, you buy it and you get exactly what you're buying. There's no kind of like mystery pulling, anything like that involved in it. There's no like gambling at all, so I don't think they'll be scalped in the same vein. Do I think they're going to sell out really fast? Probably. Will they probably resell for more than retail after their release once they sell out? Also probably, but they'll get restocked and the price will come down to just the normal price. So maybe they'll get scalped like day one on the first release, but after that I don't really see them being as crazy as some of like the actual Pokemon cards that get scalped. Total Chuck asks, are we ever going to see new Bad Batch sets with minifigures like the TK Troopers as well as Dr. Hemlock? And as much as I've wanted to see this and I've been advocating for it, it just doesn't look likely, especially as more time passes since the conclusion of the Bad Batch. I just don't see LEGO going back to give us sets. Now, yes, there's a possibility to get a one-off set here or there at some point in the future, but as time goes on, I feel like it is less and less likely, and I still think that not getting sets for the third season of the Bad Batch is one of like the biggest misses in recent LEGO Star Wars history. I think there were so many great opportunities, great minifigures that we could have gotten in terms of that, and it's just really sad that we didn't see any sets. We could have gotten some cool things like you said, the TK Troopers, the Dr. Hemlock, the version of Ventress that we saw, just so many cool minifigures that you could have seen, as well as just getting like Clone Commandos, as well as all the cool sets like maybe a Republic Attack Shuttle. You get maybe like there's just so much. I can't even just go on here and list them because there are so many great opportunities that we never ended up seeing from LEGO. So it is a bit disappointing, and as unfortunate as it is, I really don't think that LEGO will go back to visit the Bad Batch, especially when compared to something like the Clone Wars or some of the other shows that are going to be coming out, are just going to be more prevalent and most likely will be better opportunities for LEGO to make money off of a set than the Bad Batch. Now, personally, I would definitely go out and buy the Bad Batch sets, but it is unfortunate. I just don't think that we will end up seeing any more Bad Batch sets at any point in the future. I think there is a very small likelihood of getting a one-off set at some point, but I wouldn't keep your hopes up. Wolface says, what are my thoughts on knockoff LEGO figures? You recently bought a knockoff Dark Malak and it looks very good and so much cheaper than the official one. And would I ever consider reviewing and comparing knockoffs to official figures? And when it comes to like knockoffs or alternative brands or even like customs, some people would consider knockoffs. But there's also a pretty big fan base when it comes to that. And like you said, it is a lot more cost effective. It's a lot cheaper, so it is a lot more accessible to the average person. So I definitely understand that. Now, personally for me, I'm not really big big into knockoffs or customs in general. Now, I definitely do own quite a few custom minifigures. I even own some like knockoff custom sets as well. And the reason like I feel like when it comes to that, if it's something that I don't think Lego is ever going to make, then I definitely understand buying like the knockoff or the custom. Like I have a custom Mantis from Jedi Survivor, which I think is really cool, but it's something that Lego would never end up making. And when it comes to figures, there's definitely some really good knockoffs or customs, but for me, it's just not really where my interests lie. As much as I like to criticize Lego at times for their poor quality and like mess ups on minifigures, they still are kind of just the quality. I haven't found any sort of like knockoff minifigure that has the same kind of quality that Lego does. There's always like a weird kind of like feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but personally, I just don't think that they are for me. Maybe down the road that will change as they get better and better, but I don't think there's any issue in buying knockoffs, especially when, you know, Lego prices are getting as crazy as they are. If you can find one that you like, if you like it, you should buy it. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks, but personally, as for me, I don't think that the knockoffs are for me. Jack asks, if wastegapes come back, what type do I think that we would get? Plastic or cloth? As well as Lego bringing back the storage technique from the 2010 turbo tank so that you could just remove the wastegapes and keep it stored somewhere safe so it doesn't get creased or damaged. And I think that that is a great idea. And when it comes to wastegapes, whether they come back in plastic or cloth, if they come back at all, I feel like there is kind of like a 50-50. Now, the thing with cloth wastegapes is that they're only gone for Lego Star Wars. We still see them appear in other themes and other sets, so that is kind of unfortunate to see. And when it comes to the plastic pauldron or the plastic wastegapes, we saw the plastic pauldrons get reintroduced to Lego Star Wars with that 327th Battle Pack. So, you know, maybe, you know, something like that would be remade for the commas as well. The only issue is when you have a plastic comma like the old ones that we had, it really stops the minifigure from moving its legs and sitting down. So that would definitely be a step in the wrong direction. Now, I think cloth wastegapes were perfect. I don't understand well, I do understand why they got rid of them. They're trying to make a little bit of extra money in their sets, but it does not stop them from sitting down, and they're too easy to take off to make that the big argument against them, especially when we see them in other sets. So I do think there is a possibility to see them in the future, but I wouldn't hold your breath. Lego removed them, you know, and I don't see them adding them back anytime soon, as unfortunate as that is. So I don't know when we would see them get re-added into Lego Star Wars sets, if ever. And then in the vein of getting like a storage system in the set, like in the 2010 turbo tank, is something that we could see, like we saw for the one clone in there who had its armor that could be removed and stored in there. But I really don't know if that is something that they would want to include in every single set. It would kind of get repetitive, I think, after a while. But to be honest, you don't even need like a special storage system. You can just take them off yourself. That's the beauty of Lego. You can do whatever you want with it, customize it however, which way that you want. So I just really hope to see cloth wastegapes return, but I don't think that it'll happen anytime soon, unfortunately. Sleepy asks, how do I get such good Lego deals? And there are a couple of things that come into this. Now, the first of which is just on like the retail sets that are out right now. And I would say my main advice is you just gotta like wait and keep looking for sales. Nowadays, like sets go on sale all the time. We've had like 3 Prime Days this year, and each Prime Day we've gotten some pretty good deals on Lego sets. We got the first one, we got the Imperial Star Destroyer for I think like 30 or 40% off. And then we just got like a bunch of other sets on sale for Prime Day. I think the board of the 10 and 4 went down to like $36, which is a crazy deal. So with those, like you just have to keep looking. There's always sets on sale. There's always going to be clearance somewhere. So that is my option for that. And then as for like retired stuff and looking for that, I think 2 of the great ways to do it. The first of which is eBay, just literally what I do. If I'm doing anything on my computer, I have eBay open on my second monitor on the newly listed, and I'll just refresh it every once in a while. And you know, every once in a while you get a crazy deal pop up, and you just have to be first and act on that. So that is a good way to get deals. And the second of which is something called Whatnot, which is a live auction service app where you can kind of buy anything. Now, most importantly, you can buy Lego. There are countless sellers on here that auction off Lego Star Wars and any other Lego themes, and most of them start off at just $1. So you can go around and you can get some pretty crazy deals. I myself do sell on Whatnot occasionally. I just had a pretty big stream last week, and I'll be having more in the future. Also, if you use the link in the description to sign up, you'll get a $15 bonus, and that's basically a free minifigure, and you can't beat that. But other than that, there are great ways to get deals. I really think it just comes down to how often you're looking and how well you are looking, and I feel like there always are good deals, and there's always enough good deals to go around. And like I said, if you use the link in the description, you can sign up and get $15 for free off of your first purchase, and it helps me out a ton because it also gives me money after you make that purchase. Our next question comes from Nathan Gaming, and they say, because of bad sets such as the overpriced Pancake Death Star with no leg printing, as well as the overpriced battle packs and the turbo tank, do I think that LEGO Star Wars is getting the short end of the stick when it comes to having good priced sets and all of the minifigures with prints, or do I think that it is more than just Star Wars? When it comes to me, I am very focused on like the LEGO Star Wars aspect of LEGO. I don't really branch out too much into other themes. I do like here or there with some of like the 18 plus, the medieval sets, and some of like the other cool one-off sets, but I have seen complaints from other communities, especially when it comes to like Marvel and like DC and like all of that stuff, like the superheroes in general. A lot of people complain about that. I don't actually know what they're complaining about though, to be honest. But yeah, I do agree with you in the sense that it does seem like LEGO Star Wars has been getting, more and more expensive, as well as having, especially with something like the Death Star being a pretty controversial set, lacking a bunch of different things like dual molded legs and certain printings. So it is a bit unfortunate to see, but I definitely don't think LEGO Star Wars is alone in that vein. I have seen it kind of happening all over different themes here or there. I think a big one is especially with the Black Pearl. It's a set that I was very excited for, but I didn't end up buying, honestly, for the sole reason that it didn't have Davy Jones. I love that Davy Jones minifigure, and if it had it, I would have bought it day one, but it doesn't have it, as well as just the set overall having some issues and being pretty expensive. Definitely kind of branched out into that as well. So there's a lot of different themes that have their issues, but personally being, pretty much exclusively a LEGO Star Wars collector, I can only really speak on behalf of that, but it is something that is becoming a more and more issue, especially when looking toward 2026 and having sets like the $100 X-Wing. So hopefully it's something that gets fixed in the future. Honestly, it probably will take some time for LEGO to get this out of their system, but I'm hoping that it gets fixed sooner rather than later. Sleepy asks, what was my favorite video to make? And there are a lot out there. Now, personally, luckily, I actually enjoy making pretty much all of my videos because all of the videos are related alongside LEGO Star Wars, which is something that I love. So it's always a lot of fun to make videos on that. But recently, I've been having a lot of fun doing the army building videos and like challenges. I did a Rebel, I did the clones, and I just recently did the Empire. And now I'm looking toward doing the droids, the Separatists, where I actually want to try and attempt to break the world record because it actually seems like it's something that I could potentially do. So stay tuned for that. Also, the penny trade up video was a lot of fun to make, but it also took me a month. Like, I didn't make any other video for 2 weeks, so it was a lot of fun to make, but it was the most work and time that I had ever put into any video. So that one was also a lot of fun, but also had a lot of work going into it, but definitely had a lot of payoff as well once it was done. But I really do enjoy making all of my videos. I will say editing the videos is a different story. I'm not a big fan of editing, but it has to be done, so I do it anyway. But I really do enjoy making all of my videos. Demi-Tai says, with the failure and bad reviews of the 327th Battle Pack, do I think that LEGO learned their lesson, or will they continue to make them? And when it comes to the $45 battle packs, such a shocking thing to see with the 327th Battle Pack. Everyone was kind of going crazy at that and still are, and rightfully so. $45 for that set is absurd, but to be honest, by the looks of it, it hasn't been selling poorly. I haven't bought it yet, but I've seen so many other people buying it, and it has been selling very well despite the bad reviews, especially on LEGO. I think it has like a 1 or 2 star review, which is kind of funny to see, but people are still buying that, and if LEGO sees that people are still buying it, then they'll probably just keep making them. Now, luckily, as for 2026, no $45 battle packs are present, so hopefully, that $45 is the peak that we won't see again. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see a $40 battle pack. I do think that we will still be upping that price from the $30 super battle packs to at least $35. I don't think that we'd go to $45 and then jump immediately back down to $30. I do think that there will be some sort of like in between, whether that be $35 or $40, as unfortunate as that is, because it is just sad to see that high pricing for battle packs, but hopefully we don't see it anytime soon. There were a couple of talks that there could be one in 2026, but I have not seen anything definitive or anything concrete backing that yet, so I'm hoping that we don't see it. But yeah, it is very sad to see those very expensive battle packs, and I'm hoping that the LEGO is over and done with them after the poor reviews in the 327th battle pack. And our last question for today comes from Max Ranier, and they say, I saw a leaked playscale Venator for 2028 from a pretty reputable source. Do I think it's true? And also, would it be a Clone Wars or a prequel related? And first of all, I think a good rule of thumb when it comes to leaks, if it's 2 years out, don't trust it. There's no person knows what is 2 years out. LEGO doesn't even know concrete what is 2 years out. They have their sketches, they have their ideas, but it is in no phase where it could be leaked. Now, I think what you are referring to is a lot of people are saying, there could be a Venator coming very soon, and I would agree with that. I think when it comes to a playscale Venator, has been at the top of the lists for fans after the previous one in, I believe, 2009. We got the UCS Venator, we got the Playscale Venator, so it is only logical to expect that we will be seeing a Playscale Venator pretty soon, and most people are, using their deductive reasoning to say it's not coming in 2026, probably isn't coming in 2027, so the earliest that we would see it would be 2028. So I think that that is what you are referring to, but by no means are there any leaks. I wouldn't even consider this as a rumor, it's just people, talking, a wish list, but I would say I think there is still some backing to that in the fact that LEGO will definitely be looking to make a Playscale Venator at some point in the future, especially after we got the Playscale Star Destroyer, two sets that are very similar, and I do think that we will see one in the future. It's an inevitable set to be remade by LEGO, it's just we don't know when it's coming, we don't know at what point it will be coming. Probably it could be 2028 for all we know, but it might not be. We don't actually have any leaks regarding it. Now, as for when we get one, if it will be Clone Wars or prequel related, I would have to guess that it would be Clone Wars. I feel like if we were going to get a prequel related one, well, actually, I think that it could be either, because the UCS version was a Clone Wars related set, and the mini scale one is, I don't really have any relation. It has no minifigures or anything like that, but I think it is a prequel related set, but I feel like it could go either way. Personally, I think the Clone Wars would be a little bit cooler because there's a lot of cool opportunities for what you could see included in that set then, but I do also think if it was prequel related, we could also get some really cool minifigures. So it really just comes down, and I think, yes, we will be seeing a Venator. By no means are there any leaks or anything concrete backing the fact that we will see one. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in the next installment of this series, let me know down below in the comment section of this video. Don't forget to check out that link to sign up for Whatnot to get $15 off your first purchase. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.